Hey guys, it's Tristan with ChiroSushi. It's take two, and I'm with my buddy who you guys are all going to meet at the ChiroSushi Summit, which is only, we're almost at 10x. We're 11 days away.
11 days.
11 days away from the ChiroSushi Summit. Get your tickets at ChiroSushiSummit.com. You can still get the great room rates. For some reason, the hotel is not honoring their contract or whatever. They're not holding us to the contract. So we're sneaking by, which is awesome. We love them for that. I got the man, the myth, the legend, David R. Bradley, who you guys might know, seen us in our Facebook group at ChiroSushi. He's one of the representatives from Grant Cardone and Cardone University and Cardone Enterprises and Cardone muffins and brownies and all the different things that Mr. 10X Grant Cardone, who will be our keynote closing speaker at the summit. I got David Bradley.
Hey man, yesterday was 420, so it's funny you brought up our brownie business.
Oh wait, it's interesting that I brought up the brownie business. Why?
Because yesterday was 420.
Oh, that's very true. That's it's the best time to get involved with brownies is when you can have really awesome, delicious edibles.
Yeah. Grant did a video just the other day about what actually getting off of marijuana did for him and his business.
What did it do for him?
It boosted it, man. I mean, like it cleared him. You know, in most drugs that I've experienced, and Grant will attest to this. It clouds your brain. It like limits your potential. It puts literally a cap on it. I know some guys like Joe Rogan may be open to debate on that deal, but didn't really do much for me. Didn't do much for Grant. So, but he put a cool video out yesterday on how it helped him, and it's just right up on YouTube. I think it's the latest Grant rant. Definitely
there's a lot of Silicon Valley like startup CEO. I mean, there's a huge. I mean, marijuana up in Silicon Valley is like it's like the cocaine of the '80s.
Right.
It's going around like there's nothing. It's become even more normal than drinking a beer up there, and so I truly believe. We talk about this a lot in chiropractic and out in the profession, like within the profession, about being congruent with the profession that we're in. And
right.
There's a lot of what would be incongruency. Yeah. The opposite of congruency with, docs that are, maybe out of shape, maybe not as healthy as they should be. Maybe they have a drug and alcohol problem. So those are interesting topics. But
I think the real question with that or any drug is what is the intention? What is the purpose? Like my mother had, lymphoma. She passed away in 98 from that. And that was a given option to help her as she's going through chemo, and she didn't go for it. But I think like a drug is a drug. So what it does and how it impacts you when it gets into recreational, then we're talking about how are we using it. And if you find yourself self-medicating or using it as a way to hide, then it becomes an issue, right? If you're at a place where you can sit down and have a brewski and it doesn't impact your world, more power to you. I voted for it to legalize it here in California. I think it's some people are going to take to it differently than others. I know for me, I skipped the high. I went straight to paranoid and stupid. Did nothing for me.
Yeah. It's for me, we've talked offline about this before about how there's certain things that we've both gone down the rabbit hole with, and you gotta find your own wisdom with it. I want to talk to you about what you went to Miami for, man. Talk to me about the first ever 10X Con. And before you do that, man, for anyone that doesn't know, can you introduce yourself, like what you do in your role with Grant Cardone's group?
Yeah. Here's the quick, the short version of it, if you will. So my name's David Bradley. I'm a sales and marketing manager with Grant Cardone. I've been working with Grant since 2011, but I started following Grant's material in 2003. And Grant's sales training took me from barely surviving as a sales professional to thriving in it, into management, and gave me the tools I needed to literally create an amazing career in sales. So in 2011, Grant was putting some feelers out. He was looking for people to help grow and expand the business, and it was a really easy decision for me because I know what it did for me. One of the bigger impacts was in 2008 when the economy collapsed. I had enough skill set dialed in to where I didn't really have to compromise my lifestyle very much. Whereas salespeople that I had been working with that had been in sales for 20 years, literally winging it, just getting by, just barely making it enough, they had to either quit, they had to get part-time jobs, they had to take minimum wage. As a sales guy, I mean, that's some Willy Loman stuff right there.
Yeah,
right? Like you shouldn't have to, no salesperson should ever have to depend on minimum wage or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with minimum wage, but it's like, man, you should have enough skill to create an economy for yourself, grow your own business, regardless of what's happening out there. And Grant gave that to me. So I felt it was like an immediate pull to go work with him, partner up with him, and be a part of this company as he grows and expands so I can give that to other people, right? I've always believed that my true purpose is going to be found in the service of others and helping people grow and expand their business and just becoming better people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the short story. Yeah.
So we, very similar. Grant put on his first. This is his first ever like huge conference, which was all about growth and business development and sales and marketing, right?
Yeah. So here's how it was laid out. So he brought 24 speakers, all showed up at the Diplomat Resort and Hotel in Miami. It's a 3-day event: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday was literally about sales. Saturday was about marketing. And then Sunday was about creating your ideal life.
Got it.
Okay, and so each one stacked onto the next, right? So in order to do if you want to create your ideal life, we need to know how to sell, we need to know how to market, and we know how to put those two things together to create real wealth and prosperity for ourselves in our lives and grow ourselves and our business. So it was a really interesting event. I'm so glad I went out there to help out and participate and be part of the team. There was some really big fat lessons that if you didn't get your life changed, you weren't there.
Yeah, it looked amazing. We had a bunch of colleagues or people in our network that I saw going and on the plane going to 10XCon. I think there's probably at least a half a dozen chiropractors were there that I heard, which to me that's great. Yeah, Jason Dean, he's going to be at the ChiroSushi Summit. One of my hopefully soon to be buddies, Chris Burfield, who's got a show on Cardone Network, the Propaganda Marketing Machine. They had a blast there. I mean, everyone. So let's go down. Who was one of the people and one of the takeaways that you got? I know Les Brown was there. Russell Brunson was there. There's a lot of big names.
Yeah, so here's what's interesting. So I was doing, I was checking people in, taking tickets, helping them find their seats, and I was working the room. And so what was really important was that, so I'm here, I get to participate, but I'm also helping. So I've got one ear going here, right, to take in the data, right, and then another over here, helping people out and making sure that they're having a good experience at the event. So I wanted to do two things. Number one, I wanted to make sure I got some stuff for me, obviously. But what I thought was really interesting, one of the lessons that I've learned from Grant is that success is no different than any other skill, right? Mm-hmm. You duplicate successful actions of others. A few speakers talked about this, and I'll touch on this in a second. But there's no need to reinvent the wheel, right? Yeah. So I'm like, what is everybody going to touch on? There's going to be some core, fundamental, specific things that every one of these 24 people are going to allude to, touch on, and make a point for. So what I was looking for initially were commonalities, if that makes sense. And I found 5. There's a post up on LinkedIn that breaks it down. If you just hit my LinkedIn profile, you can see it there. But the 5 that I got were, number one, it's you are who you surround yourself with. Yeah. And this is one of these of course, my mom's been telling me that since I was 2, right? But when you really start looking at, and there's been a lot of speakers in the past that talk about that if you take the income levels of the 5 closest friends of you, it should average out and be a representative of yours. And so if you want to create something more for yourself, you need to be reaching up. And you really want to take a real hard look at who, and this may even include family members, who's around me. Are the people around me lifting me up, pushing me to become better and greater, or are they trying to keep me at whatever level they're at, which is average or mediocre, settling? Remind me to talk about the OK plateau as we start wrapping this up.
Yeah, the OK plateau. Okay.
Yeah. I'll touch on that. But so that was the first one. It was like one of these no-brainers, but because you hear it so often and from so many different people. But the fact that every one of the speakers at one point in their 45-minute talk came back to be very mindful of who you surround yourself with and who you let into your life. Yeah. Everybody. So that to me was like, okay, that's important, right? The second thing is I just talked about, which is to duplicate successful actions of others. You really don't have to reinvent the wheel. And Russell Brunson spent a lot of time talking about that in his talk, which is like if you look at what other successful people are doing, whether that's in marketing, whether that's in sales, fitness, right? It doesn't matter. What's worked, I think. And if you look at, like, if you go way back in the day, one of the reasons people thought skiing was a talent. Right? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until they started filming people skiing that they're like, hey, they're all doing the same thing. We can construct this. Right? Yeah. You could ski or you couldn't. There wasn't a technique. And until they started filming it and observing it, they were like, hey, look, he does the same thing, he does the same thing, he does the same thing. So we can duplicate that, right? So if you look at what works for other people, you can then duplicate it. And on top of that was that winning is a habit. The flip side of that, though, is losing.
So success, so is failure. Yeah, absolutely. Before we jump into the next two, there's something about the look at what everyone's doing, because I get what Russell's talking about, and there's also scalability in what he's talking about, because he's selling ClickFunnels, which is great, a great product to sell things or sell yourself, right. And it's a software as a service. It's a software as a service. We call it. It's not a fully robust software as a service. I can get on my pedestal about software companies sometimes. So just because that's a little bit of my background, but I love what he's doing. But here's something, because that also goes to, like, hey, what we're doing right now. Is there a point in time when you look at what everyone's doing and it becomes either A, saturated, B, it doesn't have the same, punch to it? And when do you know that, and when do you got to move on? Yeah. Or don't worry about that.
Right. I think, like, if you take a guy like Grant, right, and you look and you start peeling away all the layers of the Cardone onion, there are going to be some very specific, core, fundamental elements. Service is senior to selling. You have to give before you get. And when you give at large levels. You take massive levels of action, right? Mm-hmm. Attitude, approach, action. These are like core, fundamental Cardone principles. And be willing to pressure, right? Pressure yourself, pressure others. Like, pressure is what makes diamonds. These are core fundamental principles. So when you take a look at what those things are, you're like, okay, so if I make sure that I put service senior to selling, if I make sure that when I'm with a client, I'm giving 110%, that I'm with them, that I love the one that I'm with, that I know I'm 100% sold on me, my product, my offering, and I know that right now when I go in to close this deal, that I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. That's what you duplicate. If you look at a social media trend, right? So, for example, when we first
tactical stuff, yeah.
You introduce me, and I'm out here Snapchatting it to all my followers so people can hop on and join, right?
Yeah.
But is Snapchat even going to be around?
I know, right?
It's like, hey, knock, knock, who's there? Google Plus. Google Plus who? Exactly.
Right.
Right? So it's like, that was supposed to be the next Facebook. Where is that? Facebook is still thriving. So
well, this is kind of where I'm diving into. This is where I'm diving like, look, I mean, you can judge by, the bank account, you can judge by the followers and stuff like that. But, I look at this, who's that 14-year-old kid? Caleb Maddox or something?
Caleb Maddox, yeah.
Yeah. And I see, like, now everyone's just going out, grabbing their phone, doing the Gary Vee thing where they're just like, let me pontificate and tell you what you need to be doing. And it's like, well, you ain't Grant Cardone, dude. You ain't Gary Vee, man. Like, what level is the level
Grant
you want to say?
Wasn't Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
Gary Vee wasn't Gary Vee either. But what both those guys have done over the last 5 or 6 years, especially with YouTube, or Gary is a great example, Grant's a great example. If you go to Grant's YouTube page and you search his page, oldest, right? Yeah. You can literally watch the evolution.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can learn about what he did in the beginning and again, it's just start taking massive levels of action. Just start putting yourself out there. So the Gary V's that are in this whirlwind of people that are now pulling the Caleb Maddox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys, the cream will always rise to the top. I think evolution, social media evolution will distribute that out. If you're delivering real value, if you have something to add, what I like about Caleb is that, his niche is that he's a 14-year-old kid and he's going for it.
Yeah.
Right. So he's got that little piece of his puzzle that he could just plug in there. Right. And whereas other people, you need to know what your niche is, who your market is, what your message is, and then you need to push that out. And if you're passionate about it, you're delivering value, people pay attention. If you're just doing it because that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's exactly what I wanted to touch on, man. So I got number one, the people that you surround yourself with.
Yep.
Number two. Let's reiterate that one again. Number two was
duplicate successful actions of others. Look at what other successful people are doing. Duplicate it. Don't copy it though, because that's not. You got to bring you to that, right? And then number three is you got to give and offer massive amounts of value. You should be in a constant. Damon John touched on this. They all touched on it. Andy Frisella did too. But service, and I already talked about it, so it just popped up organically, which means that's also important too. But service will always be senior to selling, and that you have to give in order to get.
Yeah, I was working with someone the other night, and I went through this is your action plan for like the summer, and I kind of was just like, here, it's real. One, it's just be consistent. Like you got to get consistent with this, but two, with your content, 80 to 90% of it should be free. And I think that's a principle of Grant Cardone's too, right? There's a majority of it's free. Because
90% of what we do here is 100% free.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that because there's no other way, to love. And I truly believe chiropractors are listening out there. I always say up to 30%. I think over 30% is it's not sustainable, but you can up to 30% treat and help patients that can't afford your services, and you should be doing a lot of pro bono work. We're not good at that in this profession. The dental profession is really good at it. The internal, oh yeah, no, the dental profession is really good at making. Then we got to learn from that. But they do. I mean, if you Google free dental care, you can see and go to Google News, you can see press release after press release of dentist Kalamazoo, Michigan offers free dental care to those in his community on the weekend and stuff like that. And we just don't do enough of that. I don't believe, and I've done this because I go, if you Google free healthcare in San Francisco, one of my old, the epicenter of, the nonprofit world. Like there's more nonprofits per capita in San Francisco than anywhere, right? It's the city of giving. There's also some bullshit attached to that too, which I could go down a rabbit hole later on. But it's one of those cities that has a lot of nonprofits, and it's known for its free medical. I mean, the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic is like a standard of free medical care, right? And so you Google free chiropractic care versus free medical care in San Francisco, it's a 1 to 184 ratio of one chiropractor.
That's a competitive advantage for a chiropractor in San Francisco. If you're in San Francisco and you're listening right now, one of the key elements is that, you want to do what your competition refuses to do. What will they not do? And when you can expose, when you can find that weakness, man, hard target that thing. And if that's, you said 80 to 1?
No, 184 to 1. In a 7x7.
Yeah. Man, so if I was a chiropractor in San Francisco, man, I'd be every Sunday from what to what, that'd be on YouTube, it'd be on Facebook. I'd even run a Facebook ad for free chiropractic care and evaluation Sunday mornings from 9 to 1.
Yeah, absolutely. We do free care in our office in our community, and I'll tell you what, man, the people that get free care, they refer, they post on. They can't afford the services. They figure out ways. I can't. There's things that they do that are a different type of currency. Whether it's just, and that's one thing to think about, man. There's different types of currency other than just the credit card and the green cash, right?
Yeah. So obscurity is going to be any business's biggest problem. I think we talked about this on our last talk, right? So if people don't know who you are, they can't do business with you. And word of mouth, even still, is going to be your greatest form of advertisement. If you go to Yelp and you look at the businesses with the worst reviews are usually the businesses that are about to close.
Yeah.
Right? They're going under, right? And the reviews are showing that. And so word of mouth, man, you make somebody happy, they're going to tell some people about it, right? You piss them off, they're going to tell freaking everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that is your advertising, man. Word of mouth. And because social media exists the way it does right now, the globe is your client.
Yeah, absolutely. And another way to, if you have a situation where you're getting, not everyone. I've gone through it at a spa that I had where, you're in the cosmetic business. It's a little bit different than dental. Dentist is kind of more similar to cosmetic because, people aren't happy with the results and they can tear you down on there. So one of the things you should be doing is looking at free giving back, like you're talking about, love, give off value, right? Like that reciprocation. What's number 4?
A cool story about that. Let me give you a quick story about it. So when I was in the automotive industry, sold cars for about 10 years, and I'm always an early adapter to things, right? So video is a huge opportunity. You look at Grant's, our number one lead source and exposure is YouTube.
Yeah.
And when Grant started pioneering into YouTube, I said, hey, that's a great idea. I found a couple of the people in the auto industry that were doing it as well, but I started messing around with it. And I got a phone call. I did a video. I was selling General Motors. I did a video on how to pair your Bluetooth phone to a GMC Terrain.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I'm in Woodland Hills, California. Right. That video was on our website. It was on a blog. I was sending it to clients. But what happened is a guy calls me up from middle of nowhere, Ohio, and is like, hey, I work for Verizon Wireless. I just saw your video. I was helping my client pair his phone, and I just want to say thank you. It looks like you're in California. What part of California? I said, well, I'm in Woodland Hills, California. He goes, my aunt lives in Encino and is in the market for a Buick LaCrosse and can't get enough for her trade at the Sherman Oaks dealership. Can you help her? Absolutely. So a video that I made gets to Ohio, which 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever that deal is. And right. And I sold the car. And so video.
All for giving value and edification. Yeah. Yeah. Making someone's life easier for free. That's what you did. Like how to do this simple stuff. Yeah. That's why, people, I've had people come up to me and go, why are you telling people how to do all this stuff for free? I go, I made my money selling this stuff before. I don't need, if they're going to do it or they're going to say, hey, I don't have the time, or they're going to trust that I know what I'm doing better. Those are the only really 3 options. You just get.
And if you're dropping this much value for free, what happens when they pay?
They pay forever.
Right. But we overpromise and we overdeliver, right? The old adage about underpromise, overdeliver, it's crap. Overpromise, overdeliver, go all in on that deal, and you give so much value that people start thinking, okay, so this is all he's doing, and he hasn't asked me for any money yet, or right?
Yeah.
When we finally hook up and give money, what's going to happen? Holy crap!
Yeah.
Like, it's just
what value am I going to get then? Yeah. Yeah. Number 4, dude.
Okay. There will be obstacles along the road to success.
All these guys went down some. Obviously, they weren't given a silver spoon. All of them.
Nobody should. You know, Grant always talks about. He's like, my overnight success took 30 years.
Yeah.
And there are going to be things that you didn't expect, things that will never be on a business plan. Nothing.
Yeah.
Stuff's going to pop up, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the good news about that is that when the fit hits the shan, it should be a good sign that that I am moving closer to success.
Yeah.
Right. When these unexpected things pop up, number one, you should be expecting them and anticipating them, but you can't be totally prepared for it. So when it happens, you're like, you can either freak out and think this is it, I'm not going to make it, or you're like,
right.
This is what all 24 of these people said were going to happen. So I'm on the right track. I'm moving in the right direction. It's a good thing. So, and Grant
same thing with haters, right?
Yeah, man. Exactly. Right. Massive action creates new problems. What kind of problems would you like to have? Your tax bill?
Yeah. Right.
Right.
That's a good example this week, of course. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Right. I would much rather have to deal with paying more to the IRS than not.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, you got a $500 refund. Woohoo!
Yeah.
I gave Uncle Sam an interest-free loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So that's number and what you have to do is there's going to be speed bumps along the road, along the extra mile, and you can't really prep for them. You just need to know that when they're happening, it's a good sign that success is right around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was
number 5. Number 5. I'm going down the list like I'm David Letterman, my man.
Yeah. Elevate others and solve problems.
Elevate others and solve problems. Now that's my favorite.
There was everybody that talked said, man, when you encounter somebody, do everything you can to leave them better than the way you found them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bob Berg's got a book. He changed the title of it, but the original title was "It's Not About You."
Mm-hmm.
And it's really about the other person. And we may have heard this quote before, but it's like, if you want to make $1 million, find a way to legitimately help 1 million people.
I have not, but I like that one. One of the quote that came to my mind was, and someone who's been in my mind kind of during this whole talk we're having, is a man that I'll share more with you when we're in Vegas together, and some other doctors will. One of the basis, I don't want to say we're like we talked about earlier, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. One of the things that we're based in ChiroSushi Summit on is the old school Jim Parker seminars, which Parker seminars in chiropractic in the 70s, 80s, and 90s were drawing 5,000, 8,000 people. And Jim Parker was a dude that created his own chiropractic college, and more importantly, created this Parker community that even he, as he got into older age, was so powerful and built so good that he couldn't destroy it. Even when your kids can't destroy what you built, you built something good, right?
Right.
And Jim used to have a quote, and I think it's a quote he got from someone else, obviously, but there's no, and I'm gonna probably butcher it, but it's the quote about lighting. It doesn't lose its flame by lighting another candle, and that's that's one of our main we did a video cast with someone else who we really respect. I'm going to give them a shout out, Close for Chiro, which is a group that does a 1 and 2 day program to help chiropractors close more patients. And it's more specific than say what we're doing, and it has a $2,500 price ticket, and there's a lot of value. And what we're doing is a little bit different. We're serving more, I think, the masses. We have a lower price, but we have a lot of value too. And I said, let's do a video together. Let's do a video podcast together. And I had people come and message me afterwards like, whoa, dude, that's so cool. How could you do that? I'm like, look, either we're a fit for someone and we're not a fit for another person. If their program helps other people and helps other chiropractors, and I'm all for supporting them, what are we going to lose in the process? There's not this scarcity mindset. We 60,000 plus chiropractors, and there's going to be events going on all the time. I can't be afraid that if don't talk about that other event, or holy shit, that other event could help like a lot of people. It might help more people, some people in that situation that they're in. It really depends where you're at. And this brings me back to number one. I do want to mention something about the ChiroSushi Summit. I do want to pimp us out a little bit.
Yeah. Surrounding
yourself around, the people, who you surround yourself around. One of the things someone said to me last night, they're like, because I was kind of going down. It was actually, I'll give a shout out to Dr. Alok Trivedi. I'm going to be doing a live cast with him later today. He's going to be presenting at the summit on Saturday, same day as Grant Cardone. And he said to me, he goes, you know what? The key players are coming to ChiroSushi Summit. He goes, the key players are coming. And I go, you're right, man. And I would tell anyone listening out there is that if the key players are coming, right?
Yeah.
If the key players are coming, if the big names in chiropractic are coming, why are they coming? Because they know this is going to help them keep being successful, and they're going to learn new things to help them grow. You should be coming.
These things,
yeah.
All 5 of these things I'm giving you, man, they apply. They apply to everything you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Players, surround yourself with people that are already in success. Duplicate the successful actions of others. Give massive amounts of value. Get ready for the roadblock.
Dude, it's that's why we have Grant, man. And Grant was like I kept going. I go, there's no other person that represents us, especially right off the bat, to define who the hell we are than this individual and what he represents. So, what's going on for 2000? Has he released any of the names that are going to be presenting for 18? Is that still in the works?
Because it's all in the works. We've got a few people that have committed to it, but not far enough to where we can put it out in the public space.
Okay, but there's a great to 10xcon. You can go to 10xcon.
Just 10xgrowthcon.com.
Okay, you guys can get. There's a couple different packages, and can we talk a little bit about what like some of the higher end packages are? Like I saw some people going out and hanging out on Grant's boat and stuff.
Totally. So this is. Let me just talk about what happened this year, because we're still ironing out the details of next year, but we're still selling tickets in that same different parameters. We've already sold out of general admission.
Nice. Those are $1,500 a pop, dude. That's nice.
Yeah, and they're already gone, right? So from general admission, then you bump up to the executive level, gets you closer, right? It got people closer. You got a little bit more in terms of the goodies, and it was just there was a high convenience factor that you paid for with that, right? And then you also had a little bit more exposure to the speakers. When you get into VIP, though, now we're talking about backstage passes, your own line to meet the speakers, real time with speakers, and then you've got your lunch that's already handled. So when we break for lunch, you don't have to go find it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You go to this room, boom, lunch, right? That also had Grant did a networking party on a yacht, which was amazing. And then he also had a cocktail party at his house for VIP. And then even above and beyond that, it was like the black level, which got you the first 3 rows. And it's just about upper level, each level. It's just like first, back in the, Titanic days, the first class, second class.
Right.
That's where, in terms of the experience that you're going to have.
I dig it, man. I dig it a lot.
Right.
It's got wheels rolling for next year for me, man.
Right. And at the end of the day, frankly, it didn't matter where you sat. I didn't even have a seat. I was running around the whole place.
You got massive.
Yeah. I came out of that thing a completely different dude.
Is there? I know when we talked offline about this, the trainer for the Lakers or the trainer for Jordan. I mean, what was his name?
Yeah, Tim Grover. He
Tim-
spoke Saturday night. He was the he wrapped up Saturday night, and that guy that dude brings some thunder.
Yeah. What did he do that was a little? There was a no swearing, right? He told me or something. He came out and defined who he was going to be right away, right? Can you share that?
Right. How is the swearing on this?
Oh, we don't care. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what's interesting? So he came out and there's three levels of people in Grover's world, right? But the high level is a cleaner, and a cleaner is somebody that can come in and just handle it.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on, this guy comes in and handles it. So when you take a guy like Michael Jordan, obviously a cleaner. You take a guy like Grant, cleaner, right?
Yeah.
Grover's a cleaner. There's also closers and there's coolers. And just hearing the names, once you know what a cleaner is, you can sort of categorize that on your own. So Tim walks out and gets up on stage and makes this sort of, not necessarily an apology, but like a disclaimer. He goes, hey, look, I know we're not supposed to cuss on this thing, but what's important for everybody to know that when I walk on stage, I'm the baddest motherfucker in the room.
Yes.
And he like draws this line, like just boom. That's how he started, right? And that was his baseline. So everybody's paying attention now, right? And then he rolls, and he just starts. He defined it. He basically goes through his book, and so the live stream for 2017 is still available. If you go to Grant's site or 10xgrowthcon.com, you can get it. Everybody that spoke delivered highly powerful messages. I read Relentless when it first came out. That guy knows what he's talking about. And wherever you're at in your business or your life or your career, if you want to start really looking at what are these core specific things that people do at this Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James level, he will isolate those for you so that you can once again start not reinventing the wheel, man. Just duplicate these actions. They're tangible. That's the best part about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, man. I'm excited about 18 for you guys, man, and obviously Summit.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be epic, man. It's gonna be awesome. So, guys, if you want to learn more, I actually tagged David. You're cool with people connecting with you on Facebook and other channels and stuff. You don't care.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, guys, if you click above, you can connect more with David Bradley. You're just awesome. I love you, man.
Thanks.
I can't wait for us to circle up and hang out a little bit in Vegas and go get the live stream like David was talking about for Grant Cardone for the Cardone, the 10X Con for 2017. You can still get that. You can also get your tickets for next year, although general admission sold out. But why don't you pimp yourself out and treat yourself? As Aziz likes to say, treat yourself. You know?
Totally deserve it too.
Yeah. I saw the people that did treat themselves, and I've seen, more importantly, I've seen what's happened. And two individuals in particular that have just, like we talk about Michael Jordan, like when he was in the zone and he was hitting those 3-pointers against the Blazers, the 91 finals, and he was just I don't even know what to tell you. I've seen two of these people. I know one of them is going to be at the ChiroSushi Summit that's come back since and they have the main thing you look for, it's, again, I always go back to consistency. The consistency in their message has just been so awesome. But you can feel it coming through. When you can feel someone coming through Facebook, you know they're on. You know they're on. You know. Yeah. So,
right.
Because imagine what they're like in person. Holy crap. You know. Right. So, cool, dude. Well, we're gonna close out for this right now, guys. If you want to go.
I gotta touch on the OK Plateau.
Oh yeah, dude. I totally blanked. What's the OK Plateau?
I know there's somebody watching the recording right now going, dude, is he gonna talk about it? Right. So, let me handle that real quick, and then we can bounce. So I read a book recently called Moonwalking with Einstein. The guy that wrote his name's Joshua Foer, and it's all about memory competition. I didn't even know there was such a thing. But all over the world, there are literally competitive memory competitions where you've got 5 minutes to memorize like 3 decks of cards and then repeat it back. Craziness, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But so as I'm reading it, I was like, man, there's a lot in here that can help me talk to people about sales training. And there's a whole chapter on this thing. He calls it the OK Plateau. And so I'll just run you through it.
Okay.
When was the last time you tried to get better at tying your shoes?
Oh my God, probably when I was 5 or 6. When I was a little kid.
Right. So you're a little kid, you start learning how to tie. You see other people doing it, and then you start working on it, right? You're down there, and your mom's, the rabbit goes through this or whatever that whole deal was, right? You start learning, but you're not competent at it, right? Then you start getting a little bit better at tying your shoes, and you're like, hey, Mom, I got this, man. Back off.
Or you just go buy Velcro.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you start working on and learning the mechanics of actually tying your shoes. This takes a couple weeks maybe, or maybe it's faster. But then at some point you're like, I got it.
Yeah. I know
can
this.
tie my shoes. And you can tie your shoes well enough to where they don't come untied. You don't trip. You don't get hurt.
Yeah.
And then you stop trying to get better. So the OK Plateau is in life. So, hey, I got an OK chiropractic office. In 2008, the reason the salespeople I worked with struggled and lost, right, and had to quit or find something else was because they knew just enough to get by. They knew just enough to sell enough vehicles, sell enough product, sell enough appointments, right, help enough patients to get my nut managed, to pay my bills, put a little bit in my savings again, build my 401k, get my quarterlies paid, all of that. They knew just enough to do that. But when those problems that pop up along that road to success that we talked about, you're effed.
Yeah.
You're totally out.
Yeah.
So the 3 things you want to do to avoid that, and this comes back to Michael Jordan and Tim Grover, is that you have to be constantly focusing on your technique, whatever that technique is for you. As a chiropractor, as a sales professional, as a business person, what's your technique? That's one thing you got to focus on. The second thing is you have to be goal orientated. You have to be constantly pushing yourself to get better and to set new goals. Every time you hit one, you got to go a little bit bigger. And then the third thing is, just as you talked about, consistent and immediate feedback. What is working? What is not? How am I getting better every single day? So those are the 3 things to handle that OK Plateau. But that was some genius when I stumbled on it. So like every book that you read, you can always pull like one little nugget out of it.
Yeah, it's one thing that kind of circles around me all the time, man, is I always worry I'm going to be a one-trick pony whenever I'm successful in something. And, whether, I don't know if that's healthy. I don't really, it's something that I put on my shoulders and I say, I got to evolve. I got to, it doesn't always have to be the numbers too. It's evolving your success in other areas and things like that. So there's so many challenges that.
Here's some liberation for you, because at 10X GrowthCon, Tim Grover actually talked about that. You know what he said?
What's that?
That's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You totally decide if you're a one-trick pony or not. That's the difference between a cooler and a closer and a
cleaner. Yeah. Yeah.
Cleaners are consistent. They're constantly doing it. When the fit hits the shan, they're like, give me the ball.
Yeah.
I got it. Right? The coach is like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. He's like, fuck that. Give me the ball.
Give me the ball. Yeah.
Right. And so, being a one-trick pony is totally a choice that you make.
That's true, man. Well, that's a good point to leave on for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Click above to connect with David Bradley. Go to 10XCon and at least get the live stream, man. Because, dude, the people that were there really got a lot of great content. So we'll see you in a couple of days, man.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I will have a booth. I'm going to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you guys want to meet me, I'll be there. If you have questions, feel free to reach out prior to that. Anything I can do to help and be of service, man, that started the first live stream we did.
Thanks, dude. Cheers, brother.
Got it, man. Talk to you.